Sonic the Hedgehog. He's faster than light, tough enough to survive falls from space, and could easily master chaos control. However, one thing that has been a thorn in the side of myself and those like me who love to overanalyze the Sonic franchise is where exactly these powers came from. Originally, I had just settled on the fact that they were most likely some kind of natural mutation, like something you'd see in the X-Men. However, upon looking at Shadow's bio in Sonic Generations, one part really bothered me. Quote, Shadow is the spitting image of Sonic, sharing his agility and speed. Now, at first this line doesn't seem like much. Yeah, of course Shadow is as fast and strong as Sonic, that's kind of his whole thing. But think about what this is saying. Shadow, a being created by top scientists for the purpose of being the protector of Earth against a race of people-eating giant aliens, is constantly matched and often surpassed by just some random-ass hedgehog who hatched out of an egg or something. What? Really? They don't hatch from eggs? Huh. You learn something new every day. Anyway, this sent me down the rabbit hole, and I realized something quite peculiar. Most Sonic characters' powers do have an explanation, or at least a potential one. I'll put up a chart on screen that will show you what I mean. The only major characters with absolutely no explanation are Sonic, Tails, and Rouge, oddly enough. However, their powers aren't nearly as impressive. Tails having flight, which is something Rouge should just have naturally, considering, she's a bat. And both also seem to have some kind of increased strength. But I feel like these really could be chalked up to a simple natural mutation, especially since we've seen that Tails won't be taking down Shadow anytime soon. Now, I feel like I should address the Mogul in the room. Yes, there has technically been a comic where we saw Sonic's quote-unquote origin. In the UK Sonic the Comic series, we see that a scientific accident created both Sonic and Dr. Robotnik. And as you saw in the chart previously, there are some things from external Sonic media that I will count as semi-canon, like the potential origins for Amy's powers, or the fact that I've been referencing feats from Sonic X. And it probably seems like I'm just picking and choosing from the things I like, and ignoring the things I don't like or don't care for. But I also don't think Tails is the chosen one, destined to look super roided up and defeat Mammoth Mogul. I treat certain things as semi-canon because I believe they could fit into the games. But just like with Tails, Sonic getting his powers from Eggman, who, by the way, in that comic literally hatched from an egg, would come totally out of left field. No, I don't believe that is the answer. But to discover that answer, I feel we need to take a look at the final battle of Sonic Adventure 2. If you're playing as Sonic when the clock reaches 4 minutes, then you hear this line of dialogue.
Sonic, I think I've discovered what the ultimate life form is. It might be you.
When Sonic fans first heard this line, they let out a resounding, huh? What does that even mean? This led to the theory that perhaps Sonic was also created on the Ark, some going as far as to say that all of Shadow's memories actually belonged to Sonic. I don't personally believe this theory. It just raises too many questions about why we never hear about this again. And furthermore, it just makes Shadow a far less interesting character. Hey, you know how the thing that made you special was how you had that friend that you're trying to avenge? Well, you never even knew her, JK Law. But it does raise the question of what exactly Shadow meant. As well as this, we also have to acknowledge this line at the very end of the game. During a moment of quiet reflection, Sonic says this.
Created the ultimate life form.
Now, for the longest time, this line has also been confusing. While it's understandable for Sonic to admire Shadow's heroism, you'd think it'd be a character like Tails who would be in awe at the Professor's accomplishment. However, when you look at this line and Shadow's comment from the final battle, then maybe we can begin to piece together an explanation. Is it possible that Sonic is just as confused as to the nature of his powers as we are? That he's had these powers for as long as he can remember, but has no idea how or why? Perhaps upon seeing another being with nearly identical powers, he thought that the answer to his query may lie in the Ultimate Lifeform project. That explains why he's thinking about that instead of, the dude who just died. After this, it's possible they looked further into the project but found nothing. But if I'm not saying that Sonic was created in the Ultimate Lifeform project, then why even mention any of this? Just bear with me a bit longer, I promise it will all make sense. In the Sonic the Hedgehog comic series, no, not that one. Closer, but no. Jesus. This one! In this one, we are introduced to the concept of the Chaos Force, an extra-dimensional force in which Chaos Control users can draw power from when using a Chaos Emerald. and sometimes a very select few characters can draw power from it without needing the assistance of an emerald. And once again, I feel I must say that we're dealing with an element of questionable canonicity. Ian Flynn himself saying that the concept was left behind in the pre-Genesis continuity. However, even in the games we have seen that characters can use Chaos abilities without having an emerald in their possession. So, until we get an official statement of how that works, the Chaos Force is still our best bet. Now, this is where the theory may jump the shark for some people, but again I say, bear with me. How many of you have seen Star Wars Episode 1? If you have, I'm sorry, but this is the best analogy I can make for where this theory is going. In this movie, they imply that Anakin, aka Little Darth Vader, was conceived by the Force, that it impregnated his mother and created a sort of chosen one. Yes, I think you know where this is going. I believe that Sonic was created by the Chaos Force. Now, at first this sounds ridiculous, but I assure you there's more than enough evidence to back this up. The first is a bit minor, but it sticks out to me. It comes from Sonic X. When Cosmo is first introduced, she seeks out Sonic the Hedgehog to help defeat the Metarex. And when she addresses him, she says,
I have sought you out because I know you have the power to control the Chaos Emeralds.
Again I say, it's minor, but it's peculiar that this is how Cosmo, and by extension the show, choose to address him. As if he has some sort of connection to the emeralds aside from simply using them from time to time. But that's not much, so I present you with my second piece of evidence, the Werehog. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, so what? It's the Werehog. How does that prove anything? I'll tell you how. I believe that Sonic's transformation into the Werehog was more than a simple overload of Gaia energy. I believe that whatever it was that turned Sonic into the Werehog was already inside of him. It just needed the Gaia energy to come out. If you don't believe me, take a listen to this segment of Endless Possibility, the theme of Sonic Unleashed.
You're losing speed, you're losing your flow. And let it out, it's inside you. 'Cause I'm coming through.
Just let it out. It's inside you. But that's still not much, I'll admit. However, during the latter part of the game, Sonic proposes the idea that the reason his mind isn't corrupted like everyone else who's been exposed to Dark Gaia's energy is because of his proximity to Chip. But Chip responds with this.
I haven't done anything, Sonic. You're the reason you haven't changed at all. You're too strong to lose yourself. I'm the reason?
Yeah, sorry, but I just find that a bit hard to believe. You're telling me that the only reason he's not turned evil like the others is because, oh, he's such a good guy? I don't buy it. And when you look at things through the lens of Sonic being created by the Chaos Force, it makes way more sense. The Chaos Force is connected to the Chaos Emeralds, which are shown to have a special connection to the Gaia temples, and with Light Gaia himself. So of course they would affect Sonic differently than they would everyone else. As well as this, Sonic being some kind of chosen one could explain why there's a mural of him in the Echidna Temple. But the most damning piece of evidence comes from one of Sonic's strangest and lesser known powers, something that's come to be known as his Chaos Factor. It's essentially the idea that if Sonic's back is against the wall and all hope is lost, something will happen that will help him win the day. Or as Mammoth Mogul put it, something I came to understand in my immortality was that I cannot beat you. What? I shall use small words so you can follow. Twice I've risen to godhood, and twice I've fallen in your presence. No matter what power I wield, the fates convene to ensure your victory. Even if I were to act now, I am certain something would thwart me and rescue you, is a cosmic punchline I have grown quite weary of. Essentially, Sonic has good luck powers. Oh, come on! Now you're using non-canon Archie stuff to back up your claims? I knew you were a hack! You suck, your theory sucks, delete your channel and get off the internet! And to that, I have two things to say. First, ouch. And second, what if I told you that we have seen Sonic's Chaos Factor in the games? Have I piqued your interest? Good. During the last episode of Sonic 06, we see that after the rebirth of Solaris, instead of simply being wiped away like the rest of time, the Sonic heroes are transported to a time-space rift. Now, when I first saw this scene, I thought it was just lazy writing. And I saw a theory video by the Sega Scourge where he proposed that it's possible that it just simply takes longer for the matter in the timelines to dissipate after Solaris destroys it. Now, no offense to Scourge, but I'm not sure I buy that. After all, it's not like we see Accordion Guy in the rift, or any of the other citizens of Soliana. It's only these characters. the characters that were able to gather the Chaos Emeralds and defeat Solaris. But I understand that one instance isn't enough for you. How about that time that Sonic survived a black hole even though we can see that it was destroying the giant spaceship he was on? How about the time that Sonic was able to defeat a robot that had copied all of his moves and mopped the floor with both him and Shadow when it had significantly less power? How about the time that for some reason 3 of the 7 world rings just fell out of Alphalela Walela? I think I'm saying that right. And flew into Sonic. And before you say, oh well, Sonic was angry about Shara's death, so the rings with negative emotions were attracted to him, ask yourself this. What's stronger, Sonic's emotions or a demonic god genie? From just conveniently landing on the one guy that could help him put the world back together, to his friends rescuing him right before he's about to be banished into space, it seems that even when the circumstances are completely out of his hands, Sonic always comes out on top. Or, to quote Mogul, the fates will convene to ensure your victory. Okay, so now we have the how of Sonic's powers out of the way. We still need to figure out the why. Whether or not Sonic did have parents and the Chaos Force just chose their child to imbue with power, or it just created Sonic completely, it doesn't make much sense to create him without some kind of purpose. Well, remember the very beginning of this video where I mentioned how Sonic and Shadow are evenly matched in almost every regard? Well, I believe that was entirely intentional. Remember, Shadow wasn't born, he was created. Therefore, his connection to the Chaos Force is entirely manufactured. It's likely this unnatural addition threw the Chaos Force completely out of whack. And when Shadow was put into cryostasis, he was determined to destroy the world. And if he got out, no one could stop him. With this power, he could destroy the world without even needing the Eclipse Cannon. Sonic was created to restore balance. A champion created in Shadow's image. A second ultimate life form. So that way, when Shadow got out, there would be someone who could stop him. And the world didn't get blown up, so I guess it worked out alright. So, what do you guys think? I'm fully aware that this theory is pretty silly, but I would take a silly explanation over no explanation any day. So, let me know your thoughts on the theory in the comments below. Do you think that it's at all possible? You know, do you think it's pretty sound? Do you think I have my evidence all put together fairly well? Or do you think it's just a giant pile of garbage that you waited too long for and that resolves absolutely nothing? Let me know in the comments below. You know, I invite respectful debate, or, is debate the right word? I don't know, criticism? We'll see. Yeah, so, if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing, help grow the channel. That would, mean a lot. And if you haven't seen it already, I actually did another Sonic theory a long time ago about who Infinite's true master is. The answer may surprise you. So, if you want, you can click up in the corner and, watch that. I'll probably have it linked at the end of this video, maybe, or maybe not, who knows. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.